Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest, it is the 12-1 fall. Introducing first, from Lithuania, who weighs 123 kilos, the Russian nightmare, Nikita Koloff.
Welcome back to another episode of Man Up with Nikita Koloff. Real talk with real men, with real stories. And what an honor and a privilege and a pleasure today to have in the studio and on the show, not only a real man, but a real woman as well. Brian and Jaime Johnson, welcome to the Man Up Show.
Thank you for having us.
Great to have you guys here. And it's great to have a woman's perspective on manhood as well. The show kind of, centers around, masculinity and manhood, but to have you on the show, I know you'll give us a unique woman's perspective on our conversation. So,
Sure.
Great to have you here. So you came up from Aiken, South Carolina, and of course, some of the backstory is, as Brian has reminded me, we met about 20 years ago at really a wrestling outreach, I guess, in the Aiken area, Brian?
In Aiken, yes.
In the
small
Aiken
church.
In the Aiken area, small church was doing a little wrestling outreach, set up a ring, and we had matches, and I guess I brought a message. And
You did.
We had that opportunity to meet. But then we rekindled, you might say, that relationship only just really a couple of years ago when you reached out to me to come in and do something for your company, for your employees and some of your family, right?
Right. Yeah, I wanted to restore some faith into my employees' confidence, choosing faith over fear. The pandemic had hit, and we were uncertain what would happen next in the business and in every phase of life. And so I reached out to you, and you came and delivered a inspirational, motivational, spiritual message to my family, my friends, and my employees. And
Yeah, trying to blend all that together, right?
Yes.
Motivational,
Yes.
inspirational, and spiritual. So, and it was well received, I'm hoping.
Very much
Absolutely.
so. Very much so.
Yeah.
Kind of connected you and I back together, and then the bond has kind of grown from there.
Yeah, from there, the relationship, in my view, has just blossomed in getting to know the not only the two of you, but your family
Yes.
on a much more personal level. And so Jaime, let me ask you. Now, I know Brian's a little bit of a wrestling fan. A little bit. I remember, we have this bookcase behind me, and I guess some of my books and photos and stuff on there. But he had his own display cabinet, if you will, or the night I came down to do the presentation on your farm. So it was very intimate, very personal. And but are you anywhere even near the wrestling fan that he is?
I am by choice now. Yes.
Okay.
I'm inundated with information from him, but it's fun, and he's enjoyed it his whole life. Therefore, I enjoy it as well.
So you're supportive in that.
Very supportive, yes.
So there's a message. You know what? There's a message in that itself. You got Brian and Jaime who. So it's not necessarily. I would say it this way. Wrestling's not necessarily your cup of tea, but the fact that he loves it and enjoys
I love
it.
He loves it. Yes.
And so you're just very supportive of that.
Correct. Yes.
So for you out there, a loving, supportive wife is what I'm hearing. I don't know what you're hearing, but I'm hearing a loving, supporting wife.
Yes.
So let me ask you too, Jaime. So you guys are entrepreneurs.
We are. Yes.
And been for a long, long time. How long have the two of you been entrepreneurs?
Oh my goodness. Our whole married life, 25 plus years.
Okay.
Started our business that we have now in 1999. So about 22 years with our business, Crescent Automotive.
Okay, Crescent Automotive. And what's the slogan? I can't remember.
Everybody drives Crescent. You should too.
I like that. Everybody drives Crescent, and you should too. Remember that. If you're ever
DriveCrescent.com.
Aiken, South Carolina, right? Well, that's good. We'll make sure everyone gets that information too, and where they can find you. So, and then you have your own wedding venue on the farm.
Yes, we do. Double J Ranch, we do. We have a large farm that we live on full time, and the barn has become a event space, and we've really enjoyed doing that as well. Weddings and large parties and things like that.
Jaime, which do you enjoy more? Kind of hosting the weddings and the wedding venue, or the car sales? Which do you enjoy?
Wow. Well, the barn is a hobby.
Okay.
I love weddings and I love doing this for folks, and we do it on a small scale. Obviously, the car business is how we make our living.
The bread and butter.
The bread and butter, if you will.
Yeah.
But I've always enjoyed being in the car business with Brian. I've learned so much. And, being able to work with your spouse every day is very special because this business is very demanding on his time. Therefore, we made a choice when we got married to work together, so we would have time to spend together.
Okay, so that brings up an interesting point. Brian, I'll ask you first. So, because there's some out there that would probably say or watch this program and go, I love my wife or love my spouse, but I could never work with my wife, or
Sure.
So your impression of working together, how do you make that work? Spending all that time together.
You just make it work.
Okay.
I think it's made our marriage stronger. I think it's made our business better. I couldn't pick a better partner. Someone that's going to protect your financial side, going to protect you, stand beside you, stand with you, behind you, in front of you, whatever you need. Who more than the most important person in your life to share that business journey with? Now, it's obviously not for everybody, but it's definitely been for us. There's no way our business would be as successful if we didn't do it together. We had a little slogan when we first got married: we do it together, we don't do it at all.
Okay.
And we've stuck with that. And
Okay.
so now on the wedding venue note, I need to be honest here.
A little clarity
She
here.
definitely has a passion and a love for that wedding venue more than this whole automobile business.
Okay.
But
Fair
we kind
enough.
of need the automobile business to have the wedding venue.
Right. So let me ask you. So it's interesting. So I know you have mentioned to me in the past. Obviously, you probably bring certain strengths to the table. She brings certain strengths to the table, and I know you've said, there's certain aspects of the business that she's just much better than you at. Not only the wedding venue itself, but even the car business, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. She's the vision to see things that maybe I can't see, to see differences in employees, to solve problems, to financially watch over things.
Okay.
Our business has grown, and we've been very blessed, and we've prospered with it. And again, I think it's the separate traits that we both share. And God has equipped me with a partner and a wife. The Bible says it is good for a man to take a wife.
Yes.
And so all the attributes and all the talents that she has in our marriage, she also brings that to the business. And we're able, we have our days where, she tells me to take the boss hat off, even though I'm not the boss.
Because you're human, and we're all
Absolutely.
imperfect people,
Yeah.
and you're human.
But the great thing is when we go home, we can talk about something other than work. She
So
doesn't have to
you can separate yourself
Yeah,
from
she
that.
doesn't have to ask me how my day was, and I don't have to
Okay,
ask
well, that brings
because
up.
we've kind of already got that figured out.
Okay.
So we can concentrate on each other and our marriage and our children
Okay.
and our relationship.
Okay, so Jamie, let me get your perspective on that. The woman's perspective of working with her husband, being around each other, essentially, 24 hours a day, so to speak. Have there been any challenges in that? Obviously, you have your days, but what?
Sure.
What's a challenge you guys have had working together that those watching, viewing, considering working together, or maybe something helpful to them that you've overcome?
Well, yeah, for sure. You have to remember that it is a business, and you can't always let your feelings get in the way of certain decisions or certain emotions that come along with any business. But in the car business, things change constantly. Decisions that have to be made, things that are, said, you can't take them home with you, or if there's something that happened with a customer, you can't just overlive it or have conflict with your husband over it. And sometimes I have to remember that we do work together and we are partners, and he may say something that I may take to heart. I have to remember, well, that's a business decision. It is a business. So, and we discuss things a lot, further early in the relationship and working together. That was difficult because I was very sensitive to certain things, and I had to remember, well, this is best for the business. This isn't, I don't need to take this personally.
Okay.
But he does spend all the money, and I have to collect the money. So there's that. That's a little different. He spends it, I collect it and find it. So I'm the bean counter in the office. So
Okay.
he gets to buy all the inventory and have all the fun. I get to do all the collecting.
Yeah, and I know that's changed some too, in that you used to go to more car sales and that sort of thing, but you're doing more and more online type stuff as well. So you've seen the industry change, because you've been in the car business for how many years?
So my first car when I was 15, and I'm 54, so I've been in it a long time.
Okay, wow. So you're
My whole life, never
your
done anything
entrepreneurial spirit and or salesmanship goes way back
Yeah,
to
through
your
high school, I worked at car
teenage
lots
years.
and sold cars. One more point I was going to make out about working together, something that I enjoy is we live 30 minutes from work, and we have a ride in, and it gives us 30 minutes of time together alone.
Quality time.
Quality time.
Quality time.
Okay.
And we spend a lot of it in prayer time. It's a
Okay.
great time. You know, people say, my prayer life, I just can't find time to pray. And well, you make time to pray.
Mm-hmm.
So we, a lot of mornings, we'll catch ourselves, we're almost at work and we're still in our prayer time for each other. So I enjoy that aspect of it. If we didn't work together, we probably wouldn't get that. We may catch it on the way going home, so.
Yeah, you'd have to be much more intentional if you had separate work lives, let's say, or
Right.
Absolutely.
or you're at home raising the children, which is not a bad thing. Just
No.
for
It's
the
a great
record,
thing.
Never apologize for who you are. Be who God has called you to be, and be boldly.
Hi, Nikita Koloff here, and I am excited to announce the first annual MorningStar Men's Conference, August 25th to the 27th. Our theme this year, Man Up. It's time. And we have a phenomenal lineup of speakers, including NBA All-Star Al Wood, WWE Superstar Lex Luger, Lieutenant General Jerry Boykin, David and Jason Benham, the Benham Brothers, Chris Reed, and of course, Dr. Rick Joyner. Let's not forget world-renowned evangelist Frank Shelton. Click the link below and sign up early. You do not want to miss this event.
Two of my children do that. They're stay-at-home moms.
It's wonderful.
And it is wonderful. What's crazy or interesting though is, like, if they tell somebody that, there are some that look down their nose at them, and just go, like, for real? Like,
That's a full-time career.
You don't have a job? No, that is my job. Yeah, it's a full-time career in itself,
Full-time.
right? And
Admirable.
yeah, so that part is amazing as well. That you guys have been able to blend the relationship together, work together, have moments like that, intentional moments of where you pray together. On that note, Jaime, let me ask you. So, in getting to know you guys, you have a real love and passion for the Lord, and your faith is very important to you. But yet you're out there in the marketplace. So how do you blend? Is there a way to blend that, your faith out in the marketplace? Customers that come in. I mean, like, is there a story you could tell? A specific story?
I believe so. Obviously, as Christians, the way we carry ourselves in day-to-day exchanges in the marketplace is very important. But especially in the car business, I mean, there's a little bit of a stigma there, if you will.
Right.
And we get to overcome some of those obstacles and thoughts when people come in the door with their defenses up. We give them a warm welcome, a family environment. They get to meet us both, and our oldest daughter works with us. And it breaks down a lot of barriers. And whether or not your religion or your faith comes into play, they see you carrying yourself in a certain way, and that that vibe goes a long way, especially selling cars. And we just get to meet so many different people in so many different walks of life. And then, you're trying to get on common ground when you're selling anything. So you want to get someone comfortable with you. So a lot of times those things do come up, our family life, the fact that we work together, our faith, where we go to church. So all of those things are conversational a lot of times.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And so, Brian, I'll ask you. So, somebody, have you had opportunities like a client walks through the door and more than just a warm greeting? Has there been an opportunity to, really, let's just say, minister to an individual while they were, there, at your store?
Absolutely, we have. We've had opportunity to pray. Jamie brings up a great point. When you meet somebody in a sales environment and you're getting to know each other, establishing common ground, one of the first things I ask them is, where do you go to church? You go to church around here, looking for that common ground. So we can establish there. But we've had a unique opportunity. We've had some folks in our community that share our values and our faith and have been able to come to us and say, we want to bless someone with a car. We want to gift someone with a car and allow us to facilitate that on several different levels when they don't want any praise or credit for it at all. And not all those folks that have received that blessing have known the Lord, and it's an opportunity to share why someone would do an act of generosity and love like that so much.
Well, I think that's amazing. I know you have, in the time I've gotten to know you guys, your hearts are, the old expression, hearts are as big as Texas, or, and you're very, very giving and very serving. I mean, you support Koloff for Christ Ministries. You've supported of course, the Man Up radio show, the Man Up podcast. Now we got the Man Up TV show as well. And so you've been very supportive in that way. I know you were telling me a story at lunch one time. It was, let me think, it was Veterans Day, and you were telling me a story how on Veterans Day you tell them the story. What do you do on every Veterans Day? Tell them what you do.
Well, we have a connection to veterans. Jamie's grandfather was 2 tours in Vietnam and 3 in Japan. He was a lifer, and my grandfather was Navy, and we just don't feel like that our veterans get enough thank yous and enough appreciations.
Yeah.
And we were talking one year, we've always done little gift cards for gasoline or restaurants or partnered with a restaurant. And, that's nice, but, usually on the days of Veterans Days, those restaurants are crowded and whatnot. And, so we wanted to think out of the box. What could we do to say thank you to our veterans? Anybody that's active or served in the past on that one day. And so what we do at Crescent is we top everybody's tanks off with gas. If they stop by and see us and speak to us, we don't have to buy a car. You don't have to fill out any
No questions asked.
No questions.
Yes.
We'd love to know your name and what branch you served in, just for our own knowledge, to know who we're thanking. And then we take the act a little further. We ask you to have a seat in our waiting room. And one of my staff, Jamie and myself, we run cars to the gas station and we top them off. Some are $5 to top it off. Some are bone dry. And it doesn't matter. It's just a day to say thank you. And that's an opportunity to minister because, I think to be able to do a gesture, I think, Christ leads you to serve others and, whatever capacity they're in. And veterans are really underappreciated. They're underthanked.
Yeah, for sure.
And on a special day like Veterans Day, it's just a way we can say thank you for one of the things that we can do.
Yeah, well, again, one of the many examples of, as I see how you guys are making an impact in your community, whether it's through the sale of a car and I know you not only have clients come in, I mean, you do a lot of online sales as well. People come from all over the country, and so whether it's that or hosting somebody for their wedding, and I imagine that's a great experience for everybody. Jamie, what might be one of the funnest aspects of that for you? I know he said you're real passionate about it and it's a hobby, but what do you enjoy most out of hosting a wedding?
Well, we truly host weddings. I'm there from start to finish through the planning, the decor, until the bride walks down the aisle. And that's my favorite moment, is seeing the bride that moment of time. And you think you're hosting an event, but it's someone's most special day in their life so far. And that still gets to me. It's, I guess I'm a sucker. I love love. I don't know.
You get emotional.
I get emotional, and it's not a job, and and we stay start to finish and watch them drive down the driveway, and it's special. Yeah. It's very special to us, and to host someone at a place that's so special to us in our heart and such a beautiful location, it's special to share that with other people.
Yeah. Well, you guys have such in my view, a very unique story, but a wonderful story of just the living example of how a husband and wife can not only live together and be married to one another, but work together and make that work. And to have, two successful businesses like you do, and to be as supportive as you are. So let me ask you, I'm going to ask you first, Jaime. So this is the Man Up Show, and I'm going to ask you, as the supportive wife that you have really, I think, illustrated for all of our viewers today, if you could take 60, maybe 90 seconds and like looking into this camera here, what would you say to men out there?
I would say the support that I'm able to give is because I am first supported by my husband. And I think as men, married or not, supporting the people in your life, praying for the people in your life, especially your wife, that gives me the confidence to go out with a fresh look on life and be supportive to other people. It gives me the confidence to be a better person because I feel like I have that support group with my husband first. And I know he has my back. I know he's supporting me whether he's with me physically or not. Spiritually, he's backing me up and praying for me. And I think men, sometimes it's not the manly thing sometimes to pray with your spouse, and Brian does a very good job of that, and he's always expressed that to other men in our lives, whether it's our son or other men in our life, and that gives me a lot of confidence in life, no matter what's going on. That having the model husband that I have that does pray and support me.
Awesome.
And in order to be supportive, I believe we have to be supported.
Awesome.
And that's important to me.
That's a great word. Men, are you listening? You paying attention, men? Pay attention, coming from a woman's perspective, a husband who prays with her, not just for her, but with her. Okay, Brian, 60, 90 seconds. What would you, same question, what would you like to say to men?
Men, choose a partner like Nikita did, tag team partner to win his championship belts. Choose a spouse that can be your tag team partner. It doesn't matter who gets the final count, the 1, 2, 3 count, or who does the most damage in the match, that you're partners and that you win it together. Men, pray for your wives. Pray with your wives. The most intimate person in your life is your spouse. Why not share the most intimate weapon tool that God has given us is our power of prayer. And share that power of prayer with your wife and for your wife. To me, there's nothing more manly than getting on your knees and thanking God for your partner and praying for your wife. So be a partner to your wife, accept her, love her, lift her up, date her like you did before you married her, take her to dinner, get her flowers, love her, tell her you love her. That would be my advice.
That's a great word. And I know from our conversations in the past, and I'm challenging men all the time, like whether I'm doing a Man Up conference or, of course, I have Man Camp that Lex Luger and I co-facilitate together. And I'm challenging men all the time, not just pray for your wife or for your children, to pray with your wife and with your children. And there's an enemy of our soul who would make that very uncomfortable to begin with, which I'm guessing initially it probably was for you as well.
Absolutely.
But
That's
eventually,
so
the more you did it, eventually the more, say, comfortable it became.
Sure.
And now it's just a habit, right? Whether it's driving into work or even other times. And I know that prayer has been very important. It's been a real catalyst to your success, not only in business, but also in life itself, and taking care of those 4 beautiful children and 1 grandchild, right?
Grandchild.
Okay, just real quick, I know you gave the website earlier. One more time, how can people find out about Crescent Motors and the wedding venue?
DriveCrescent.com.
Okay.
Our wedding venue is Double J Ranch in Johnston, South Carolina.
On Facebook at The Barn at
The Barn at Double J Ranch, yes.
The Barn. So, Well, there you have it, Brian and Jaime Johnson, and a very unique opportunity today to have a man and a real woman on the Man Up Show, and to get a woman's perspective on what life is all about. So we hope you enjoyed the show today. Tune in again for another episode of Man Up with Nikita Koloff. Real talk with real men and real women sometimes, and just real stories. God bless you.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Man Up Show. For more content, please visit us at www.morningstartv.com.
Hello, I'm Rick Joyner. I wrote 4 books last year, but these are, I believe, some of the most important I've written in a long, long time, maybe even ever. This one is called The Second American Revolution/Civil War. It came from a dream I had in 2018, a very graphic dream, when the Lord started showing me things that you can see even from the time I had that dream in 2018. This is already unfolding. And anyway, this is about that, and I throw in a lot of the other information and knowledge of what's going on so that we can discern the times and know what to do in them. Now, this is another book I wrote last year, The Awakening. It's about my personal sojourn. I wrote this one of the most important I think I've written in a very long time, on Marxism and its strategy for destroying America, how it has almost already finished the job. It's infiltrated our schools, the media, entertainment, virtually across America. And they formulated a 45-point plan in the 1930s for taking over America, the Marxists. And they have just about finished the job. They have very systematically and very patiently gone after every one of these. And I lay out all 45 points, how they have been working those points, and how many have been accomplished, how they did it, and where we are now, and what we need to do to reverse this. It is not too late, but if we don't act soon, we're going to lose our democratic republic to this ultimate evil and this ultimate enemy of liberty and freedom. We have to understand this basic military principle. You cannot defeat an enemy you do not see. And to see means to understand it, to be able to perceive it as it's working against you. And I believe when you read this book, you're going to see all of the places that it is now manifesting itself and seeking to take over our country. Lieutenant General Jerry Boyk and myself wrote this book together on the principles of war, taken from Clausewitz's 12 Principles of War. You know, Jerry and I used to teach this. He would teach each principle, lay out the military application, and then I would take each principle and lay out how you could apply the same principle in business and schools and missions and virtually any endeavor. And it helps to plan strategically, have clear objectives. And there's a saying, those who do not know the principles of war are going to be used and will serve those who do. Well, these are simple, easy to understand. Jerry had 36 years in military, one of our greatest military warriors in our generation. And I've been studying military history and history in general since I was 15 years old, studied Marxism since I was 19 years old. But we combined and condensed that knowledge into something you can read in just a few hours. It's powerful, it's written to the point, succinctly. We try not to waste any words, but you can get it and start applying these. And I believe to the degree that you apply them, you are going to be successful. We're going to let you have all of these together. And we're going to pay the shipping. You're not going to pay anything but $49 for all 4 of these books together. And I believe you're going to be so glad you got these and have read them, because every one of them is relevant to our times today.